Hello, in this video I will talk on the arithmetic expressions. So let's say I want to display so 5 5 plus 10 15. Okay, so here I say, if I say 5 plus 10 equals to 15. Okay, and go to the next line. Okay, and then put semicolon. Okay, so it works, but I want to, instead of this way, I want to take these from variables. Okay, so for this one, let's say let's declare it int let's say n1, meaning number 1. Okay, so let's assign 5 to this one, int n2, which means number 2, equals 10. Okay, so here let's do this. If I say, okay, so here instead of our, let's put this here. So let me leave this so that you can see the expected output. And so here, if I say instead of 5, I want to display this, okay, which is n1. Okay, n1. So I'm sorry, not n1. If I put n1, this will actually display n1 on the screen. Okay, so here, because this is an integer, %i, and also this is %i. Okay, and this will be also a placeholder %i. Okay, and here we need 1, 2, and 3 values here. So this will be something, comma, another something, comma. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So here this will be n1. Okay, n1. Here n2. So how about here? This should be the addition of n1 and n2. So n1 plus n2. So this space characters is not necessary, but it helps to increase the readability. So let's put some space characters so it is easier to understand. And now let's see what this displays. Okay, perfect. So it worked as we expected. Now let's make some changes. So instead of this, instead of putting n plus n2, I can have another variable. I can say int sum, okay, and also at the same line I can say add these two. Okay, so on the right side, n1 plus n2. Okay, so this means okay, so this is not used yet, so let me just put sum here. Okay, so sum will be the addition of these two. So first of all, these two are calculated, and whatever the result, it is assigned to the left. Okay, so here if I run this, okay, so it worked as we expected. Okay, now let's try this one. So here, let's say we have okay, so let's say this is 10. Okay, 10. This is okay. So So before talking on this, let me talk to the okay, so let me just comment this out. Okay. Okay, so here print f printf. Okay, so let's say this is I, the value is I. Okay, so if I say 2 plus 3, okay, 2 plus 3, so what is it? That should be 5, right? So let me just comment this out. Comment out. So if I run it, okay, actually let's go to the next line. Okay, 5. So what if I say okay, 1 or okay, so here let's say 2. Okay, so 5, 10. Okay, so 2 times, okay, let's put some space characters. So what is this? 5, right? Times 2. So will it be 10? Let's see. No, it's not 10. It is 7. Basically, the number of the number of space character doesn't matter. It is just to mislead you, to deceive you. Okay. So here, the multiplication and division has higher precedence than the addition and subtraction. So when we see this, the multiplication is done first and then this. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3, 7. So if you want to calculate this part first, you need to put this inside of the parentheses. Okay, so you put this inside of the parentheses. Now if I run this, okay, now it is 10. Okay, and let me talk on something else. So let's say, so let me comment this out. Okay, so print f, okay, so percent. By the way, so I want to talk on the modulus operator. So let's say or before this, let me talk on division. Okay, so for example, 15, okay, divided by 6, okay, or so let me show this. 15 modulus 6, okay. Okay, so the problem is incomplete format specifier. It thinks that we are putting a format specifier here, but my goal my goal is to display percent sign. So here we put 2% characters. Okay. Okay, so 2%, but here I want to display the result of this. So let's say is, so this is percent I, okay, percent I, and let's go to the next line after this. Okay, so the meaning of this is the remainder, which means if you divide 15 by 6, what is the remainder? The result is 2 actually. So if you divide 15 by 6, but this is not division, this is remainder. Okay, so for example, if this was for example, okay, so let me say 10. So 53, if you divide 53 by 10, the remainder will be 3. Okay, 3. So now let's do this. So 15 and then 6. Okay, so again the remainder is 6. So this one has the same precedence with the multiplication. And so for example, if we have this plus 1, okay, so it will be, this will be calculated first, which is 3 plus 1, which is 4. Okay, and this modulus operator applies to two integers, not to floating numbers. Okay, so this is the modulus. So let me just comment this out. So what if okay, so how about this char c1? Okay, so this is a character, and let's say the value is a. Okay, so now let's display that. Okay, so printf so c1 is %c. Okay, %c, and then I say c1 semicolon. So if I run it, okay, it displays a. So if I say I, so then, so let's see. Okay, it displays 65 because I is integer. So here 65, the letter A is represented with the ASCII code. The ASCII code of the uppercase A is 65. So the ASCII codes for the uppercase letters goes from 65 to 90, which means if this were uppercase Z, it would be 90, and lowercase letters goes from 97 to 122. So if I make this lowercase z 122, so lowercase a is 97. Okay, okay, now let's talk about this. So here let's say n1 is, or let me use I1. Okay, so this is 10. Okay, so if I say also float f1, okay, f1, and so this is 3.5, okay, or maybe 2.5. Okay, so here if I say print so print so f is, or f1 is, so percent f, okay, and then I say f1. So if I run it, okay, now it displays that. So here if I say okay, here if I say I1, so which is integer, okay, I1 equals to f1. Okay, so now let's do this. I1 is I. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, I1 is 2. It is because this is a floating number, but this is integer. When you put floating number into integer, the floating part is truncated. Now it is 2. Okay, now let's do this. If I say let me just make this one f1 and this is I1. So this is integer, okay, and then so I put integer into floating number. Now let's see what happens. Okay, now f1 becomes a floating number. Okay, so it is not 10, it becomes 10.000. Okay, um, and also let me talk on this part. Okay, so if I say, for example, float f2, which is another floating number. If I say f1, no, I'm sorry, um, or let me do this. So let me comment this out. Printf result. Okay, and then percent. Let's say percent f. Okay. Okay. So 7, or let me do this. I. Okay. 7 divided by 2. So let me comment this out. If I run it, okay, 3. How come? So that should be 3.5, right? If you use calculator, 3.5. However, in Java, so I'm sorry, in C, uh, integer divided by integer is another integer, not floating number. Okay, so this is integer, this is also integer. So the floating part is truncated. Okay, so here, if you want to say floating number, so this is a floating number. Float um, divided by integer is float. If at least one of them is floating number, the result is floating number, float, which means um, float divided by float is float. Float divided by integer, float. Integer divided by float is also float. At least one of them is float, the result is float. If integer and integer, the result is integer. Okay, so this is floating number, but this one is integer, but we said that the result is floating number, so this should be f. Okay, so if I run it, okay, that is good. So 3.5. By the way, this uh, this part is optional, so you can do this. Okay, or if it is 0, you can put this one, or if it is 0.7, okay, so this is it, or so this part is also optional. Okay, so you can have this. Okay, so let me just make it so how about this? Okay, so this is integer, so 7 divided by 2 is what? 3. Integer divided by integer. Okay, the problem is it expects that you put float, but this is integer. Okay, so how about this? Okay, so float, okay, and I say 7 divided by 2, and let me display f1 here. Okay, So here this is 3, but the problem is 7 divided by 2, integer divided by 2 is um, integer, which is 3. So after you calculate this part, you assign it to float, which is so it becomes 3.0. Okay, so if I want to get the correct answer, I should make either this one floating number or this one or both of them. Okay, so if I do at least one of them, that is sufficient, and now I get the correct result. Also, let me talk on this. So let's say we have so this is I1, or so let me think. So float, and let's say this is 2.5. Okay, so let's say F2, F1. Okay, so here let's say F1 divided by 2 divided by F2. Okay, so what is it? 4. Okay, yes, that is correct. So this is 4. How about this? If I say I, okay, and as you see, it gives a problem. Okay, the problem is this is used for the integer. So also let's have this int, okay, or let me put it here, int, and I1, meaning integer 1, F1 divided by F2, and here let's use I1. Okay, so let's see what we get. 4. Okay, that is correct, as we expected. So if you divide 10 by 2.5, so this will be actually this will be 4.0 because float divided by float is also a float, 4.0. But when you assign it to here, then still the result is this. So what if I make this 12.5? Okay, so 5. Okay, so 12.5. So that is correct, 5, and then I assign it to integer. But what if I do this? If I okay, so let me think. If I also, there is a typecasting. Okay, so typecasting is so if I make this integer, okay, integer 6, so which means, but if I display the value of the F2, so typecasting does not change the value of this. F2 is still whatever it was. So F2 is, so let's display them, and F1, F1. Okay, so if I run it, okay, F1 and F2, they remain the same. So their value does not change. But this highlighted part is 2. So F2 is still 2.5, but this highlighted part is 2. Okay, so if this is 2 and this is 12.5, so 12.5 divided by 2 is 6.5. Am I correct? No, 6.25. But anyway, the floating part is truncated, and then this becomes 6. Okay. Also, let's do this. I can take it from here and then put here. Then what is this? This applies to this one only, not to the entire thing. So this applies to here. So this one is what? 12. So f1 is 12.5. When you typecast it to integer, this is 12. 12 divided by 2.5, that is, I believe, 4.8. So anyway, the floating part is truncated. This should be 4. The result is 4. Okay. So how about this? Okay. So here I make the division. So if you make the division first, so this is 5. Okay. And then you typecast it to int 5. Actually, we didn't have to, because this is integer already, so it would be truncated anyway. Okay. Now this displays this. Okay, I hope this is clear to everybody. Have a nice day.